Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for a very new segment here at WNCT. We are doing a new segment called Now in ENC to bring you guys some live stream interviews, things that are happening right here in the East in real time, and to give you guys a personal look into what experts have to say on these topics. So this is something new that we're doing again here at WNCT. We're going to be doing these live at 1:30 every Monday through Friday in replacement of our 1:30 afternoon update. Of course, we will still be keeping that 4 o'clock update before our nightly newscast for you guys for the latest top and trending stories here in the East and nationwide. So today, our very first special guest for Now in ENC is Sergeant Lee Darnell from the Pitt County Sheriff's Office. He's joining us through Zoom. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great, Emily. Thank you for having me live today.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of, I'm sure, a busy day for you. So I want to go ahead and get right into our conversation here. I've invited you on to our new segment Now in ENC to talk about gun violence here in our country. Now, some harrowing statistics here in the United States. We have had 126, I believe is the correct number, mass shootings in 2021 alone. Now, to me, as an everyday citizen, that number sounds insanely large. As a law enforcement officer, how do you feel about that statistic? Have you seen anything like this in your career before?
I haven't seen anything quite like this. I can't speak to the numbers of mass shootings from year to year. I don't know the statistics by heart. But to be perfectly honest with you, any law enforcement officer will tell you at the end of the day, the uniform comes off and we'll sit down for dinner with our family just like anyone else. We're a human being first. So that's my first reaction. It's the same as yours. I'm horrified.
Yeah.
We're talking about human lives. Talking about the safety and security of everything we've ever known about our families and our friends and the peaceful nature of our whole world at this point. And it's heartbreaking.
Most definitely. And saying, that number 126 in the whole country. Now, it's hard to think about. You see these mass shootings on national television happening. Unfortunately, it's happening so much more often. It feels like we're almost seeing them one every week, if that. So, but this hits close to home. It's not just happening across the country. These kind of situations are happening right here in the East, right here in Pitt County as well. Over this past weekend, something I just want to touch on is that, we had a shooting here in Greenville at the Waffle House, at a local Waffle House. And, unfortunately, somebody was injured. They are expected to recover. But, these situations are really happening so close to home. It's not something happening, on the other side of the country. It's happening right here in our own homes. And so I want to talk about, the statistics right here in Pitt County. What are those numbers compared to those national statistics? So I know you and me talked a little bit about some of those numbers. I know you were looking some of those statistics up. So talk to us about what some of those numbers here are in Pitt County.
Right. Well, first of all, so far, just in Pitt County, that doesn't include any numbers within municipalities of Pitt County. For example, it doesn't include numbers within city of Greenville or Winterville or Ayden or Farmville, any of the municipalities. But so far in 2021, we've had 9 shootings within the unincorporated parts of Pitt County, which has already eclipsed the 6 that we had in 2020. And that's certainly very concerning. Why has that happened? Numbers like that, they will vary from year to year. And anytime you see change like that, it's very concerning. Does it surprise me? It does and it doesn't. Right now, this is a very stressful time. A lot's going on in our world right now. And I don't think that's a surprise to anybody that's watching this. We've all been under a lot of pressure with the pandemic, with the politics of the past year. Regardless of how you feel on the politics, it's been a very stressful time. There's been so much going on out there. The children coping with in school, out of school, dealing with the virtual learning environment, the impacts on parents, the economy, people working, not working, the not having jobs, not having money. And there's so many things playing on our lives right now. It's a very complex time. I've never dealt with anything like it. I bet no one watching this has. And so I would expect numbers like this to climb.
Mm-hmm. And so I kind of want to dive a little deeper into those numbers here in Pitt County, if we can, break those down a little bit. Now, is the gun violence that we're seeing here in Pitt County, is it more, I don't want to use the word random because that feels like, you know, it's not enough of a strong word to use, but are these gun violence incidents here in Pitt County, are they more random acts? Are they, you know, acts of domestic violence? Where do they kind of fall in the range of what we're seeing the most with gun violence here?
By and large, they are not random acts.
Mm.
And I find a lot of comfort in that. That doesn't make it any better in the grand scheme of things, though. But a lot of the gun violence and other violence that we see will stem from activities such as gang activity, from the drug trade, from domestic violence does certainly play a part in that, from other situations where disagreements come about from groups of people and things like that. The random acts, they seldom come to play in that.
Mm. And I also want to touch on, you know, something that's national news right now happening right here in North Carolina in Elizabeth City, with the situation, the incident, the shooting death of Andrew Brown Jr., unfortunately, by a deputy in Elizabeth City. Now, that situation is, like I said, national news right now. I mean, every news station is down in Elizabeth City trying to get coverage of this. You know, right now, the whole town, or the whole area of Elizabeth City has been declared into a state of emergency, you know, because today is when they're going to be releasing the deputy's body cam footage. And so they're expecting, you know, a lot of public unrest, a lot of civil unrest. And they even have moved, you know, all their students, all public schools have been moved to remote learning for the remainder of the week in anticipation of some unrest out in the city. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have any comments, concerns about, you know, this situation happening in Elizabeth City? Is there anything you want to address about it or comment on?
Well, the biggest thing I can say at this point is I haven't seen the video either.
Right.
I don't know what happened. The only thing I do know is just what I've seen by watching the news and what people have said on social media. These are very emotional times. And I've been praying every day about that situation and other ones across the country, and about Pitt County, Greenville, my family and friends, my coworkers, for our sheriff, for our political leadership, regardless of party. Those things don't matter right now. I mean, right now, talking about human lives and survival and taking care of people, and we all, I think right now, there's so much emotion. I have a lot of emotion in me right now with everything going on. And I'm trying to remain as patient as I can and to make measured decisions and statements and thoughts and be patient That's hard sometimes. And I pray that others can make good choices and let the process play out. And I pray that the process goes well and things come to light. Transparency's there and things play out as they should.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much, Sergeant Darnell, for taking the time out of your day to join us for this conversation and be our very first guest here on Now in ENC. I really appreciate your time and your comments and your expertise on this topic and just joining us for something that, is a hard topic to talk about. It's touchy, it's emotional, but it's happening all over the country right now in crazy numbers, and it's something that we have to talk about. It has to be addressed. So I really appreciate you taking this time to chat with us about this. I'm sure we will have you on as a guest again for Now in ENC. So thank you so much, Sergeant Darnell, for joining us.
Thank you, Emily. And if I can say one last thing.
Yes.
In these tough times, I don't know who to attribute the quote to, but they've said, the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been asked recently, where do you see law enforcement in 5 years? And I struggled to answer that. Where do you see the community in 5 years? Right now, let's all come together and let's make sure 5 years from now, it's a happy community and a safe and a healthy community. Let's come together. Let's take care of each other. We owe it to our kids and our grandkids. We owe it to ourselves, and we're better than this.
Very well put.
Thank you, Emily, for having me today.
Wonderful. Very well put. Thank you so much, Sergeant Darnell. You have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you guys for tuning in to our very first segment of Now in ENC. I hope you guys continue to join us for these. Again, they're going to be at 1:30 every Monday through Friday with some relevant topics, some special guests to dive into these topics for you guys, things that are happening right here in ENC. So again, thank you, Sergeant Darnell, and thank you guys for listening, and we will see you at 4 o'clock.